Oh, yeah, that's another. Chef.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to KUMB TV's UEFA Conference League draw, live from, I don't know where it is. Is it Zurich or somewhere like that? I don't know. But we're all over the place here anyway. I'm joined today. I'm delighted to be joined by that way, Nick DL. A little bit further over there is Rio. Do apologise for us being a little bit squashed up, but we've where is it? There. We've had to get the graphic in today with all the teams, so we've had to squash a little bit smaller than we should. There is actually a fourth member of the team about to join us. He's going to come up in a little pop-up window. We've declared him as the mascot for the session. Before we do that, Rio, we have some breaking news coming from Twitter. Do you want to just fill everyone in on that before we fire away?
Yeah, Sky Sports Diamond Chef has just announced that West Ham have actually agreed a deal with Lyon to sign Lucas Paqueta. So it doesn't mean the player's actually going to join, but the deal's been agreed. And this is a minor miracle happening. We're going to get an attacking midfielder who can pass a ball.
Let him hold the shirt first before we say we got it.
Yes. So there it is. There's the break. I mean, it's, to be fair, that's pretty much in line with what East Village Hammer was saying on KUMB earlier today, that the deal had all been agreed, and that we were just waiting for confirmation. But yeah, there it is. Looks like the Paqueta deal is going through. We'll come back to that in a little while, actually, chaps, if we may, because we're just going to stick with the draw for now. Delighted to say he's here. Pinky is with us. Where are you? Up there. I can't. There he is up there. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you in the circle again.
Yeah, actually somewhere in Denmark at the minute. We're in the airport, flight's delayed, so we're all really happy. So you've got about 200 West Ham United, which is like a full Ryanair flight. And we're okay at the minute because they're still selling cold beer in the cafeteria. If that runs out, who knows where this could end up.
How was your trip? Everything going to plan?
Fantastic. I mean, you've got to say, Viborg, superb hosts, lovely little ground, beautiful town, friendly people, but probably League One standard, if we're being honest. So well within our capabilities to dispatch them as we did. But, you know, this is what you do it for. Sometimes you get top draw opposition like Seville in the Europa. This time we've had Viborg in this competition. But who knows, we could get some tasty sides in the next round now.
Well, we're going to have a look at those in just a moment. I'm just adding a couple of links here to KUMB, so everyone knows where they can find us. What are we? I mean, there's 32. So as you can see, we've got there it is over there. I mean, everything's backwards. There's the graphic. There's the 4 pots. West Ham, as you can see, seeded first in this competition, unlike last year, of course, when we were third seeds in the Europa League. But Rio, who are you looking at there? Who would you fancy out of the draw?
Well, there's 2 ways looking at it. Do you want to get a reasonably comfortable draw, so you kind of sail through group stages into the knockout part, or do you want to knock out one of the rivals who possibly we can feature later in the tournament? Yep. Me, I'd rather go the easy route. So for me, out of pot 2, I'm looking really at possibly CFR Cluj of Romania.
Yep.
Pot 3, there's some tricky teams there, but Shamrock Rovers would probably be the ones I like to kind of face, or Vadas of Liechtenstein. And in pot 4, there's a couple of real doozies here. Balkani of Kosovo, Unic of Armenia, RFS of Latvia. So they're the ones I'd rather face, so we get a little bit of a more comfortable ride through to the knockout stages.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, it's, do you go along with that, Nick? Would you be happy to keep the minnows in at this stage and save the better team? Of course, there will be teams coming in from the Europa League. Those teams that finish third in their groups will be dropping down at some stage. But who would you like to see us face there out of those teams?
I kind of not bothered who we face, because at the end of the day, to win it, we're going to have to beat the best teams in the competition. So I'm easy. I just want, ideally, I'd like us to get people that are, when I say local, let's say maybe driving distance.
So we're ruling out Denmark again, are we? And but we're up to about Germany. That's all right.
I can't really say much. Now, lug off.
Okay.
It's in the room.
All right.
The Euros have just left. So, I mean, to be fair, the Denmark ain't particularly much further when you think about it.
Right.
Say, you know, Edinburgh or for Hearts or whatever. And I'm now getting daggers. But, you know, it's only another couple of 100 miles on, isn't it? So
yeah, I suppose so. Not so bad. Well, I mean, we've got a real wide choice, haven't we? There from sort of, as you say, Edinburgh right the way through to Israel, which I understand is pretty much near the desert.
Yeah, I won't be driving to Israel.
Be a shaver, I think that is. But Pinky, looking at the teams there, you know, you're the main traveller out of all of us. You go to pretty much every away game. Which grounds would you like to particularly add to your list of visiting clubs out of that lot?
In Europe, we've got simple requirements. You want cheap flights, cheap hotels, and cheap beer. Okay, so then you're looking at the standard of the opposition. First of all, you want a place you can get to at no cost, a place that doesn't cost a fortune while you're there. Yeah, and you can have a few pints without bankrupting yourself. So I'm picking, I think there's a team from Limassol still in it. So that will do a nice fixture in September. Now imagine the middle of September, week in Cyprus, what's not to like? And we might even beat them. Yeah, that kind of thing. When it gets to more, you know, winter time, get to Christmas, well, maybe FC Cologne, Christmas markets in Cologne.
Yes,
a bit of shopping over there. That would do us.
Oh, you know what? That would work.
What would work? Go on.
Cologne in winter, because we were talking about the Cologne Christmas markets.
Right,
it's like cool.
They did final call. That work. I mean, them in the hotel when I play the football, they're all, you know, Christmas lights, things.
There you go.
I want Cologne.
Cologne, there it is. Cologne for Nick. So anywhere else, Pinky, on that list that you fancy?
It's more a case of what I don't fancy. I don't really fancy Eastern Europe, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's a bit bleak. It's a bit miserable, isn't it? And been there, seen it, done it. I don't want Hearts because at the end of the day, that's just Scotland, isn't it? And, you know, where's the challenge?
It looks like we've lost Pinky temporarily. For those of you just joining us, Pinky is in an airport in Denmark, flying or waiting to fly back from last night's tie. So his availability and presence in this stream might be intermittent at best because the stream isn't that great. But hopefully we'll get Pinky back in just a minute. We're just looking at the BT Sports. All the dignitaries and officials are lining up in their plush velvet red seats, waiting for the draw to commence. We have a very pleasant looking young man, suited and booted, about to give us the draw. I'm not sure if we've got any announcements or anything to happen first, but we are about to go anyway. West Ham, of course, getting through to the knockout stage or the group stage of the Conference League, courtesy of that 6-1 aggregate win against Viborg of Denmark last night. Rio, you watched the game. What did you make of West Ham's performance last night?
It was just a simple job, wasn't it? Viborg aren't much cop. Professional job, well done. A couple of little infuriating moments for me regarding the substitutions towards the end. But yeah, okay. we polished things off, didn't we? You know, and how many times can you say we've been professional when they approached the cup games in the past? Not very often.
What were those moments you were referring to there that sort of frustrated you a little bit?
Towards the end of the game, when he brings on Kurt Zuma and Mikel Antonio, we've got a really hard string of league games coming up. Yeah. I just thought it's completely unnecessary. Give a couple of the kids a little run out. The tie was done and dusted. You're risking injuries to players who are really key to us. It just seemed really unnecessary.
Okay. Nice to see Armstrong Okaflex get a debut. I mean, of course, it was only 8 minutes, but good to see him finally come. And a player that a lot of people felt should have been involved last year to some degree and didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And it would have been nice to see a couple of the other kids get a go and all. But Armstrong had a really good pre-season last year, didn't he? Particularly showing the Celtic friendly. Yeah. And it's nice to see him finally get a little bit of a run out and hope we see a lot more of it in as we progress through this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there should be plenty of opportunity against some of the teams that we're likely to be up against. No, just going back to the draw, no idea who this chap is, but a bronzed chap has just come out in a suit and a barrel neck with no socks. No idea who it is. Probably someone famous, and I don't recognise. If anyone knows who that is, do let me know. But they're still chatting. Oh, it's a chap called Vulcan Demirel. Any ideas, anyone? Not one that instantly rings bells to me, but
I think he's a lesser known superhero from the DC universe.
there you go. He looks it actually. He looks like he's about to burst out and start flinging a few people around the stage and stuff.
He's a Turkish coach, a pundit,
Right.
and former professional footballer. He's not been in management since this year, but yeah, he's a random, really, isn't he?
Thank you, Nick. Of course, Nick reading this all off the top of his head, being the experienced football commentator that he is. Thanks, Nick, for filling us in on that one. But yeah, so some of the teams, West Ham. Let's just go to the draw quickly. 4 pots. Which is essentially seeding. You've got pot 1, which is the top seeds, pot 2, pot 3, pot 4, which is the minnows of the minnows, I think you could say, given some of the time. I mean, you've got Shamrock, for example, in and Vaduz of Liechtenstein in pot 3. So there's clubs considered to be even smaller than those in the pot 4. But essentially, how it's going to work: 8 teams in each pot, 8 groups. So each group will consist of 1 team from each pot. They'll begin with presumably pot 1 and go through the pots thereafter. So West Ham should be one of the first drawn. Of course, that means that we cannot play in the group stage any of the teams in the same pot as us. So Villarreal, Basel, Slavia Prague, Alkmaar, Ghent, Basaksehir, and Partizan Belgrade, or just Partizan as they're known these days, cannot face West Ham in the group stage. We'll be taking a team from pot 2, pot 3, and pot 4. So, we've got some potentially interesting away trips there, maybe to, as we said, to the desert to play Beersheva, slightly closer to play Hearts of Scotland. We're about to find out, I think, what's going to happen. Nick, you and I watched that game last night.
We did.
Pretty comfortable victory for West Ham in the end. I mean, all the early fears of, if we could see the goal, we could be in trouble, proved to be unfounded. Is that the sort of level of competition you're expecting going forward in the group, or do you think we're going to be facing slightly harder tests from here on?
I would have thought they would be slightly harder, not by much. Obviously, the ones in pots 3 and 4, but in pot 2, I can't actually see the screen. Let me just click on here and see if it comes up. No, I can't really see. I mean, but pot 2, I can see Fiorentina, for example. They're no mugs, but that's really all I can make out on the screen, unfortunately. So I really ought to maybe try and find who's who.
Okay, no worries. The guys on the stream from UEFA headquarters are still chatting away. Just brought in Vladimir Smica. Who did Smica play for, Rio? Was he Liverpool?
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, they're just showing it now, actually, just showing him score a goal. Czech, wasn't he? Smica, wasn't he a Czech Republic player?
Yeah. Wasn't bad at all. Didn't really shine, but did a solid performance for Liverpool. Decent player.
Yeah.
Well, Anderlecht would be nice to get out of pot 3, to be fair, because that's relative. That's certainly driving distance.
Well, this brings me on to my next question, actually. I'll go to Rio first. Rio, what's our toughest possible draw out of that lot, would you say, if we had to pick the most difficult team from each group?
So for me, out of pot 2, obviously Fiorentina or Cologne would be the nightmare scenario, just because of the calibre of the competition they're in.
Yeah.
Pot 3, Nice or Anderlecht would probably be the trickiest opponents for us. Nice has spent a bit of money this summer. Anderlecht shouldn't be too difficult, but they have got a bit of a pedigree in Europe. And pot 4, the only two I really like to avoid would be probably Lech Poznan of Poland or Djurgården of Sweden, just because teams from that kind of country always put up a fight and make it difficult for clubs. So I think, they'd be the ones I'll be looking to avoid.
I've got to say, out of all of those teams out, I'd quite like to play Djurgården because a friend of ours now lives out that way, and he's a season ticket holder there. One Lost Hammer, of course, formerly of this parish, formerly a KUMB moderator, left to move to Sweden some years ago, and he's now a season ticket holder there. And we could keep on his sofa, basically. That's the main reason for that, hopefully, although he doesn't know it yet. But that'd be nice. Nick, what's the best possible draw if we had to pick the weakest team from each group for you?
Best possible draw. So we got pot 2. I'm just going on the basis, right, of ones I ain't heard of, because my European football knowledge isn't great.
Yeah.
So who we got? The Israeli people.
Beersheba.
Yeah. What have we got in pot 3? Oh, it's got to be Shamrock Rovers, isn't it? Got to be lovely to have those.
Yeah.
It's a little trip over to the Emerald Isle. And just literally on the basis of nothing at all, because they won't have home advantage, the Ukrainian team.
Who are Dnipro, of course.
Dnipro,
actually, a reasonably strong side in years past in Europe, but a shadow of their former selves, not quite the force they once were. So, yes, hence them being in that group. But there you go. So, loads of permutations. I think we're about to find out who West Ham are going to draw, because it looks like the draw is about to begin. Before we do that, just a quick hello to those of you joining us on the stream, to some of our regulars like Craven and Steve Palmer. Jim, good morning, Jim, coming at us live from Adelaide, nice and early, no doubt. And some of the other guys, Andrea, Flavius, also joining us, not KUMB regulars, but come along and join us in future. Here we go. Looks like the draw's about to begin. Anyway, we have the graphics up on screen with UEFA, and I haven't got any volume on, so I'm just going to be going literally by what we see on the screen. But hopefully these groups are going to be populated with the teams' names as we go along. First one's out anyway. Ghent are the first one out from pot 1. So that's Belgium Ghent, not Genk, who West Ham played last year. Now this is a bit difficult because I'm going to have to go by the graphics. I think that's.
I've just been told this is the mock graphic at the moment.
Oh, this is the mock one. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
It's just explaining how the process goes.
Thank you, Rio. I'm glad someone knows what's going on. Forget that. Genk are back in the pot and so Shamrock. It looked like those two have been drawn out. So what's the spiel then, Rio? It is as we expected, one from each group.
Yeah.
At a time. Okay.
And it does look like it's going to be in numerical order as well.
Right.
But UEFA are known for throwing a curveball, so they might just change it halfway through. You just don't know.
No, indeed. All right. Well, let's see what's happening. There's loads of flashing balls on the screen. We're just waiting for the first teams to be drawn anyway. Now we're seeing dots go up. I'm not quite sure what that's. I think this is what Rio's saying. They're just telling us exactly what's going to happen here. So we'll hold tight for now. Rio, let's just go back to the big news, or we presume it's big news. Paqueta, you called it at the top of the show. Looks like the deal's been done. What's your view on that transfer? It's
an incredibly exciting deal if it does come off.
Yeah,
play a really good pedigree. The player we've been really lacking. You know, I mean, as much as I love Pablo Fornals, Saïd Benrahma, they are not providing what we absolutely need game after game. A really incisive, clever passer, someone who can link the midfield to our forwards, get us flowing like in the Payet days. And I think Paqueta, if this comes off, could be the nearest we're going to have to Dimitri Payet.
This is actually that good then? Because I don't know nothing about him.
Yeah, well, I've seen him. He looks absolutely superb. Eye for a pass, eye for a goal. Yeah, as my son just pointed out, he loves dancing after he's scored a goal. So what more do you want?
Could be a dance-off between him and Antonio. We've not seen Antonio do that for a while, have we?
On the forum, of course, you've got Pez's also saying there's still likely to be another 3 coming in, which if that's the case, there's going to have to be some outgoings.
Yeah.
And he said, don't be surprised to see the total spend going over 200 million.
Incredible, quite incredible. But
with the caveat, of course, is that we're basically spending next year's rice money.
I've just been passed a little stat as well about Paqueta. Sorry to interrupt you, Nick.
Yep.
Last year in the League One, he provided 87 shots, 81 take-ons completed, and 68 tackles made. According to this particular outlet, he says he's a warrior and a wizard.
Take that, wouldn't we? We could do a bit of that. It's interesting, the comparisons, I think. I mean, Rio, you brought it up there, that have been made to Payet. or Payet, should I say? But we've lacked that player, haven't we, and Nick, for probably since Payet. Actually, that number 10, that traditional number 10. We've had Lanzini, never really sort of lived up to expectations, though, has he? And this could be the big deal that we're looking for to get us off our seats again.
Yeah, a little bit harsh on Lanzini, I think, because he was just starting to blossom when he got that horrendous knee injury that kept him out of the World Cup. So I think that's more than anything, which is why we've not seen what the player that we thought Lanzini had become. But no, nothing since Payet, really. Payet as number 10. So it's something we have been crying out for, and hopefully it is a player that'll get us bums off of seats. Whenever he gets the ball, gets us excited because we
need it. We need a bit of that.
We've not really had that. We thought maybe Ben Rama might be it, and he gets you off his seat, but that's usually to swear at him rather than
in frustration. Yeah, Nick, I'm going to have to cut in there because the draw's actually begun. So let's go to the draw. The very first team out, pot 1, are Başakşehir of Turkey, and they seem to be having a bit of an issue unscrewing the second ball. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. The Turkish guy has had to ask for a little bit of help. West Ham are out, so they must be joining all the pot 1 teams first, because that's Başakşehir are also in pot 1, and West Ham are in pot 1. So we'll presume that so West Ham are Group B. That's correct. So we're going to be going through the groups individually. So it's Başakşehir in Group A. West Ham will be playing in Group B. In this year's UEFA Conference League competition. We're going to have Group C next, I'd imagine, which is Villarreal, one of the favourites, if not the favourite. Of course, had a fantastic run to the semi-finals of the Champions League last year. Did really, really well. And Rio, would you like to take us through the rest of the pot 1s as they're announced?
Yeah, certainly. Again, but the balls have been a little bit difficult to unscrew for UEFA representatives.
They're frozen shut. That's why.
Yeah.
Different temperatures on them.
But next out are AZ Alkmaar of Holland.
So that's Group D.
Yep. I'd also like to point out, in that funky little studio they got there in UEFA land, wasn't it great to see the West Ham badge flash up? Looked so impressive.
I missed that. Did it come out?
Little things please me. It just looked fantastic.
Just waiting for Group E then, Rio. Who's going to be coming up next, do we think?
Group E, Ghent of Belgium.
Ghent, of course, not Genk, who West Ham played last year in the Europa League. That's Ghent, their rivals. Are going to be in Group... Now, hang on, it says Group F there. Did we miss Group E? We had Alkmaar of Group D.
Something to do with different confederations, apparently.
Okay. So Genk are Group F. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So next out, Partizan of Serbia.
So formerly known as Partizan Belgrade, a very, very famous team.
And
Group D. Right. So I'm completely lost now. But we know West Ham are in Group B anyway, which is the main thing. We'll have a look at the screen in a minute. I'm sure they'll show it once all the pot 1 teams are drawn out. But
next out is Slavia Prague. And they'll be going into some random pot, which no one really knows until someone gets a word in the shell light. But
presumably that'll be F or G, won't it, Rio? Because it looks like, there you go, G.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one, Group H, the last one out of the top seeds. And I should know it.
Must be Basel.
Basel, yeah.
Okay, so the top seeds of each of the 8 groups have now been drawn. We're going to have a little bit of a rethink just to see who's in. We know West Ham are in Group B. We know Slavia Prague are in G, Basel are in H, but we're just waiting to see the screen. Okay, Alkmaar look like they're in C, so I'm just going to have to do a bit of a change of my notes here. But there we go. So we're now in the second pot, Nick. Pot 2, second tier teams, 1 in each of the 8 groups. We're about to find out who they are. I'll pass it over to you, if I may, for the draw.
Okie dokie. So, pot 2. Still struggling to open them. Must be too warm, that one.
There we go. Come on, lad.
I'm presuming this is going to be Group A.
Oof.
And it is Fiorentina, so we've avoided them if this is Group A.
We're presuming that's Group A because obviously they've changed things. Oh, there it is, confirmed. That's Basaksehir and Fiorentina in Group A. Well, that's good news anyway, isn't it? That's one of the two we wanted to avoid, Nick.
Yeah. So this should be our one.
This should be our one, but whether it is or not is whether UEFA agrees with it.
Looking to avoid Cologne, really.
Cluj. Oh, Cluj, yeah. No, was it? Cluj?
Yeah. FCSB.
No. Steaua Bucharest, sorry. And we all know what happened last time we went to Romania.
Yes, I was watching the video.
Cars washed.
Actually. There you go. Apparently it's like a Phoenix team, isn't it? A Phoenix club. The original Bucharest went to the War Rio. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely correct. Obviously, because of their military history and links with the regime, they kind of dissolved, but they come back and back in Europe. Good pedigree from the past, and we've had a tricky tie against them some number of years ago, wasn't it?
Never an easy place to go, as they say. Belgrade, but yeah, it's going to be quite a trip for our away fans. That one, Romania, nice place to go though. If we can get out there fairly soon. Nick, back to you anyway for the rest.
Thanks. What group are we on now? D.
D, I think, aren't we? We're looking for D.
Group D, maybe. FC Cologne.
So
they're the next
Cologne
one.
are pitched with. Is that Ghent? I think they're with. Just waiting for confirmation. Sorry, Partizan.
Group D, yes.
Okay. Right, halfway through the second tier teams. West Ham, we know, will face Steaua Bucharest. Nick, who have we got coming out for Group E?
Coming up at Group E is Limassol, Cyprus.
Okay, would have been a nice trip. Would have fancied that one actually. A nice little run out to Cyprus, but they are going to be playing in Group E of the Conference League against Alkmaar of Holland. Group F, Nick.
Group F is. Oh, sorry, Rio, I'm leaning in front of you there.
That's all right, mate.
Space is a bit tight today. So that's the Norwegians, Molde. I think they're the only Norwegian club in the competition. They will be playing the Belgium, the Jupiler League team Genk in Group F. Two to go, Nick. Who we got left? We've got Apollo Cyprus and Bratislava. I think that is the last two actually in the. Where is it? I'm wrong side. List up there. Over there.
The Romanian ones. 1907, whatever they're called.
So that's Group G. The second team being drawn out of Group Jets Cluj, who are going to be playing Slavia Prague. Cluj. And finally, so is this Bratislava? If I've got my.
It is right. Bratislava.
So Bratislava and Basel in Group H. So far, two teams from each group drawn. West Ham, we know, will face Steaua Bucharest. We're about to find out the final two teams that the Hams will face. So we'll go over to Rio for the pot three draw. A couple of banana skins in here. Nice of France, you probably want to avoid maybe Anderlecht, but Austria Vienna, perhaps a chance to go back to Vienna where we couldn't.
Yeah, I've got to remember as well, by the way, Nemesis is also a Romanian club with Astra. So we don't fare too well against the Romanian teams, really.
Who do we want out of this lot, chaps? I'm going for Shamrock myself. I'll take that.
Shamrock or Vadas for me, the Liechtenstein team.
Yep. Playing the Swiss League, of course. There is no domestic league in Liechtenstein. They have a cup, but not a league, apparently. Rio, first team from pot three.
So Dignitary is unscrewing his twisty little ball. And out comes Heart of Milovian.
Ooh.
So we're denied a trip to Chili Choco Land, as Jimmy Groves once said.
So Basaksehir, Fiorentina and Hearts of Edinburgh all in the same pot. Group A. This is the big one, Rio. West Ham. Who's our second opponent going to be?
Come on, be kind to us. Be kind to us.
No Nice.
He can't get the ball open.
Anderlecht. Give us Anderlecht. That's drivable.
So he's passed it to the pensioner next to him, who's done it somehow, first of all, straight off.
Who we got? Who's it going to be? Come on. This is too much. Who we got, Rio?
Oh, Vaduz.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We're off to Liechtenstein.
Hold on. There's a bit of a spanner in the works here.
Okay.
So they've gone into Group E.
Oh, right.
For some bizarre reason.
Okay, we have no idea why that is. Vaduz were drawn to play West Ham. So presumably this will be West Ham's opponent.
Yeah. Here we go.
Oh,
Oh, this is going to be nice to be sorry.
Or is it? Or is it going in?
No. Again, we're denied. We're denied.
No, it's not. What's going
They've
on?
gone into Group F. They're trying to get the toughest team left for us to draw now.
We've got absolutely no idea what's going on. It's Shamrock. We've been drawn with Partizan and Cologne. So we don't know when. Maybe it looks like Group B is going to be drawn at the end then, Rio. But anyway, who's next?
Anderlecht are out. We could have Anderlecht. Yeah, we've got Anderlecht.
Yes. Okay.
Again, another team we have history against.
Indeed. 1976 Cup Winners' Cup final. Frankie van der Elst, Frank Lampard, dodgy back passes, Heysel Stadium.
I was thinking more of that friendly in pre-season when Adam Nolan balls that penalty up. But
anyway, it's Anderlecht and Steuer for West Ham. We're back to is this Group E now?
Yeah,
I think
Austria Vienna going to Group E. Oh, Group C. Oh, no one knows what's going on.
They're making this up as they go along, aren't they? What's going on? So Vaduz, who were in Group B, then Group C, have now been taken out of Group C. And we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to do a recap at the end to see what's going on here because this is quite ludicrous. Rio?
And Nice come out and they're placed into the same group as Cologne by the look of it. Yeah, Group D. So Partizan, Cologne and Nice at the moment.
No idea. No idea what is going on.
Well, we don't. So where is Shamrock now? Did we see what group they got moved into? It's Partizan, Cologne and Nice anyway, which is actually a very tough group.
Yeah. Sivasspor of Turkey are finally at the bowl. And they go into Group G. With Slavia Prague and Cluj.
So that means there is one team left to draw, I believe. Yeah, it looks that way from group, but we don't know the makeup of the groups yet because they've been moving all around. Rio, who's the last one out of the hat or the bowl?
Final one out is Zavinius of Lithuania. And they go into Group H with Basel and Slavan Bratislava.
Right, so there's a bit, I'm not quite sure what happened in the middle there. I'm not sure who's in Group F with Ghent and Mulder. West Ham, we know for sure, have got Steaua Bucharest. Of course, we played in the 90s in a ill-fated two-legged affair. And Anderlecht, of course, a rerun of the 1976 Cup Winners' Cup final. And, more importantly, that friendly that Rio was just referring to from a few years back.
On the UEFA website, they have a little bit of explanation about the... not very clear, but in case of associations with 3 representatives in the UEFA Conference League, 1 representative in the Europa League group stage, the unpaired Europa Conference League club will be paired in the club of the Europa League group stage. Well, I don't get that at all. All these pairings are based on TV audiences. So Slavia, Prague and Slovakia, Genk and Anderlecht.
No idea.
No. I'm even more confused having read their explanation.
Nick, pot 4 coming out. First team's out. Thanks, Rio, for trying anyway.
I was listening to Rio, one of the Latvian teams, I think. RFS, yes.
They're going to be going in with Basakcia, Fiorentina, Hearts to complete that group. I think Group B, West Ham's group, or at least it should be, unless they change it again.
Maybe. I've given up. I haven't got a clue.
Let's see. Who we got, Nick? Who's it? Or who might we have?
Supposedly, perhaps, got a Danish team. Ooh. So there we go. That's your Lost Hammers team, isn't it, or not? Oh, no. Oh, yes. Oh, I don't know.
No, that's Djurgården's. Well, they've gone in there. They are in Pot B. So there you go. So that is the final group for West Ham. Not the easiest group we could have had by any means whatsoever. We will be playing Steaua Bucharest, Romania, Anderlecht of Belgium, and Silkeborg of Denmark. One of the teams that playing in the same domestic league, the Danish Superliga, as last night's opponents. Let's just carry on with the draw for the rest of it, Nick. Anyway, we've just seen Dnipro come out. They've gone in Group C, I think.
Potentially. I don't know. I was catching up on the transfer thread because I'm lost. Researching material for when this is over.
I have no idea what's going on. My list, my it's just a mess of scribbles now, this thing here. It's all over the place. But anyway, we'll try and do a recap. As long as we know who West Ham have got, that's the main thing anyway. Next up, Nick, we've got
the Polish lot.
Oh, it's this lot, isn't it? Isn't it?
Poznan,
the backwards dance, the Poznan. A really poor attempt, but Villarreal, Beersheva, Vienna, and Poznan. Villarreal, Beersheva. I have no idea what's going on there. But anyway, I think we'll come back to this draw in a minute because it's none of us seem to know what's going on. We do know who West Ham's opponents are going to be, though. So Djurgårdens have just been drawn out there. In group, well, they've gone back to Group D. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but Rio, first impressions of the draw. As I said, not the easiest draw we could have had, but you know we should be okay. You'd think, looking at that, to be one of the two teams going through.
Yeah, seeing as we've now got a little bit of European experience under our belt, the fact that the Premier League is one of the richest, if not the richest in the world, and the caliber of players we're attracting, we should be okay. But you know, we fought this in the past. It's not an easy draw by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Bucharest isn't going to be an easy place to go to. Anderlecht, they might have dropped off a cliff in terms of their European pedigree of late, but you know they'll still be up for the fight. It could have been easier. It could have been tougher. Though, isn't it some interesting ties there? Let's put it that way. And the ties I'll be looking forward to.
Interesting is the word, I think. Good description, dude.
Just Nick, before I come to you for your reaction, just quickly, I can tell you the capacity for each ground. I believe that Bucharest, bar West Ham, have got the largest ground in the competition. They play at the National Arena in Bucharest, which is just over 55,000 capacity. So opportunity for a very, very big allocation for West Ham out there. Anderlecht, of course, play at the Constant van den Stock Stadium, which is a capacity of 22,500, similar to Genk last season. Then finally, Silkeborg of Denmark, pretty small 10,000 capacity stadium, very, very similar to Viborg last night. They play at the JYSK Park Jusk. I think that's the pound shop IKEA, isn't it? They play at the sponsored stadium there. We don't really know an awful lot about those, but Nick, your initial reaction to that draw, what do you think?
I think bloody hell, Romania's 1,500 miles away, so I won't be going there. That's my initial thought. Not easy, not difficult. But again, you know, you've got to beat the best clubs, best teams to win it. So, yeah, I can see it. We'll get out of the group comfortably. I can't see us not qualified.
Just having a look, we can confirm the rest of the draws there, but Besiktas, Fiorentina, Hearts, RFS in Group A. Group C is Villarreal, Beersheva, Vienna, and Lech Poznan. Group D, Partizan, Köln, Nice, and Slovakia. Group E, Alkmaar, Limassol, Vaduz, Dnipro. Group F, Ghent, Molde, Shamrock Rovers, who West Ham thought we had initially drawn out against the Hammers, but they moved them. And Djurgården. Group G, Slavia Prague, Cluj, Sivasspor, and Balkani. And Group G, I can't see because it's just whizzed off the screen. I think it was Basel, Bratislava, Vilnius, and one other I didn't see. So in terms of the away trips, Romania, Belgium's obviously that's going to be a nice close one, and Denmark again. So really, Rio, the guys that were out there last night will have first dibs on that and know pretty much where to go. It's presumably not going to be a difficult one, but I guess the key thing is we've avoided the Kazakhstans and the Israels, those trips.
Yeah, all the stuff that is a long way away, not very hospitable, we've avoided. So I think our travelling support will be quite pleased with who we've drawn. Anderlecht not too far away. Very easy trip on Eurostar. Sickerborg, it should be easy. Pinky was waxing lyrical about Denmark after yesterday's game. And Bucharest, everyone I spoke to actually went to the game all them years ago. Said it was different, very cold, but very enjoyable.
Yeah. I'm just going to just briefly tell you how the three teams we're going to be facing are doing in their leagues at the moment. Starting with Steaua Bucharest, they've actually had a dreadful start to the campaign. They're 13th in the 16-team Liga 1 first division in Romania. They've played 5 games, 1 win, 3 draws, 1 defeat. As I say, just 3 teams below them in the table at the moment, though they do have a 4-point cushion over the bottom 3. Anderlecht in the Jupiler League are currantly 4th, had a decent start, 3 wins, 1 defeat, 8-4 and 2 against, and taking 9 points only behind Genk, Antwerp and Bruges. Of course, Hans Vanaken, one of West Ham's transfer targets, is currently playing for. And then finally, the Danish Super League, Silkeborg, who we've just drawn, actually top of the table. 4 wins, a draw, and 1 defeat from their 6 outings so far. Scored 12, conceded 6, 13 points out of 15. So, yeah, they could be the sort of unknown proposition, couldn't they, Nick? Really, Silkeborg. It's looks like it's going to be a tough test.
Yeah, it does. There's no easy games, is there? They're obviously in all the clubs are in there on merit. I am currently looking at ways in which I could get to Bucharest, and it's probably going to be cheaper to fly because I'm going to get through 4 tanks of fuel. So
I hear you say that with the utmost reluctance.
Yeah.
Our Nick, for those of you who don't know, isn't the keenest flyer in the team. But anyway, that's it, chaps. That's the draw. West Ham, Steaua Bucharest, Anderlecht of Belgium, and Silkeborg, the current reigning Danish league leaders in Group B of the Conference League. Back to Premier League action on Sunday, chaps. Aston Villa, obviously we had a brief respite in the Conference League last night. Paqueta, of course, if he does come in, and as I said, we as Rio pointed out at the top of the show, we've heard good vibes about that one. What are we thinking about Aston Villa? It's been a pretty decent hunting ground for us, Rio, hasn't it, in the last couple of years?
Yeah, last few years we've done really well. Really great performance last season with a 4-1 victory. No, I worry about our form. I'm just hoping that the way we lined up yesterday with the 3 at the back, it seemed to suit us a little bit more. So hopefully we'll revert to that kind of formation, and there'll be a bit of light at the end of the horizon when we kickstart our league campaign Sunday.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thanks for coming in. Nick, your thoughts on Sunday?
Oh, we need to at least pick up a point and score a goal. That's the very minimum that I'm hoping we get.
And how are you feeling about it? Are you confident that we can do something up there?
I wouldn't say confident, because Villa ain't had the best of starts, have they? And they're going to be out wanting something from the game as well. So I'm not going to commit yet. I'll see what way the wind is blowing on Sunday when we're on eyes up. So
okay.
What time's kick-off, by the way, on Sunday?
I think it's 2
you
o'clock.
caught me out there. 2 o'clock, is it? Another 2
I think it's the early one, yeah.
Thanks, Rio. There you go. So for those of you who won't be travelling up to the Midlands and fancy joining us on the stream, we will be back on Eyes Up Mother Brown on Sunday lunchtime for that game. Not a must-win, but probably a must-not lose. No, it is a must-win. You're right, Rio. It probably is, which kind of sounds ridiculous, doesn't it, at this such an early stage of the season? But there it is. That's where we are after our pretty dreadful start. There it is. That's it from us this afternoon. Thank you to everyone joining us for this Conference League draw. Just to recap once again, West Ham in Group B of the UEFA Conference League will be facing Steaua Bucharest, Anderlecht of Belgium, and Silkeborg, the current league leaders of Denmark in that group. 6 games to be played between, what does it say on the graphic below us, 8th of September and the 3rd of November. Of course, ending a little bit early this year because of the impending World Cup, which will be taking place in Qatar. And if we assuming we qualify, we'll be back at the beginning of March, I think it is, for the next leg. Anyway, thank you very much for your company this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your comments on the stream as always. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, give us a little like down there, the thumbs up button, and why not pop on over to the KUMB.com forum to have a chat about the latest transfer discussion and, of course, what we've seen this afternoon. We're all on our way over to there, so hopefully we'll see you there very soon. Till next time, take care, everyone, and